Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Tenerife Pod, the bonus episode. I'm Jenny T, your host, and in as co-hosts today, in for Stevie B, we've got Ricky C.
Ricky C, that's a new one. Hi, Jenny. Ricky C. I've been called worse. I've been called worse.
Kids entertainer when they're like on BBC or
Ricky
something.
C.
It should be on CBeebies. Here's Ricky C.
I want a jingle. I want a Ricky C jingle.
We could make that happen. I mean, I could make it happen. That's the guy that could make it happen. My other co-host today, Chris Elkington.
Good. Hello.
Hi, Chris.
How are you? How are you all?
Very
You
well.
all had a good Easter?
Yeah, did you?
I had a very quiet one.
It passed me by.
Yeah?
Easter just passed me by. We were just working all the way through. We didn't realise all of a sudden it's like, is it Easter Sunday? You know what I mean? It's just, is it? Today we're recording this on Monday.
Monday, yeah.
Is it right in Tenerife? The kids have gone back to school.
Yeah.
On like in the UK, it's Bank Holiday Monday. They're all eating their Easter eggs. They're all doing the barbecues.
Yeah, but they have Thursday and Friday over here.
That's
so
right,
it's slightly different. A bit like Christmas is different as well. You know, the Spanish like to do it differently, don't they, Jen? Let's be honest.
Of course. Why would you want to be the same as everyone else when you can be different?
I know. The thing is that I was going through social media this morning. I saw on Facebook they showed a clip of the film that they do in Adech, you know, on the
Passion of the Christ,
of the Christ, yeah. And it was like, I looked at it and it was like, for one minute, I did feel guilty. I was like, and then scrolled on. Sorry, because that's what I do. Just like in a little second. I've got a couple of questions though. First of all, How many times am I allowed to mention the Winchester? How many times am I allowed?
You're not.
Oh, okay. Jen, how's your stinger finger doing?
Well, no, technically you've already done it once.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Jen, stinger finger.
Well, I love my
Stinger
finger.
Oh, you know, I've got to say, I listen to your pod. I think it's a fantastic thing you're doing. It's amazing. And I listen to your pod when I walk my dogs. I normally do it. It takes me 2 trips of dog walking to get through the whole pod. I think it's amazing. And I do believe headphones in, stinger finger in the beginning was like piercing stinger finger. But you've pulled it back and it's really, really good. And I like your stinger finger.
We've had to reduce the penetration
I'm starting
in
to
your
like
ears of her stinger finger.
And also, there's something else I saw on here as well that I wanted to mention. I actually suffer from misophonia. Do you know what that is?
Not having your phone?
No, it's a condition characterised with a fear of hearing people chew. And the last pod on your cheesy mozzarella cheese pulls, chewing panko cheese in my ears. I was like, honestly. It was like,
people like it though. There's what is it called? Where there's like whole YouTube accounts like dedicated to people just going.
No.
And just making those kind of like people
weird.
Like
is it called weird?
Yeah, to me that's like my worst. That's my worst nightmare.
So you hate it, but there's some people that love it.
I generally can't do it. It's just not.
Is this the same thing as when you get them like watching or listening to dogs making noise? There's a certain name for
like it's like,
the sensory
like it's
thing. Yeah,
abbreviated. It's anyway. So sorry about the lip smacking.
I think it's Emmental.
Emmental.
Yeah, Emmental, mental. I think it's a bit weird. But
I would just like to say thank you for our shout out on your YouTube channel. That was very kind of you.
Do you know what it was? It was I have two channels, and the channel that we did is a quieter channel for me, and it's been quiet for maybe about a month or so because I refuse to just vlog for the sake of vlogging. Mm-hmm. And if something comes across that I think is quite interesting, I go, yeah, I think that's really or worthwhile for people to get for information or just a worthwhile watch. And I came across your pod, and I didn't realise I had to make a film to get invited to it. Thank you so much. But it was one of those things. It was just like I watched it, I listened to it, watched it, and listened to it because it's YouTube and then also Spotify. And I thought this is actual genuine information for people who are not just on the island, but people who like the island, love the island, are away from the island, who are looking forward to coming to the island. It's all that. It's all wrapped up into one. And I think it's so more modern than what other people are doing at the moment. I think it's absolutely relevant. I mean, basically, I don't know when we want to get into talking about it, but to me, I think social media in Tenerife is the same as how Tenerife was in reality 35 years ago. It's like a Wild West over here at the moment. That's my view. It's Wild West. And, I can quite easily go, well, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to champion a cause. I'm going to be a sheriff of the Wild West. That's not me. That's not me at all. But it's nice to see an organisation as big as Oasis FM, behind it Canarian Weekly, getting hold of a social media strand and actually laying down, I think that's what it is, laying down a foundation for the future direction of the way social media can go in Tenerife, which gives it then a non-biased honest view of the island, I think.
That's a really nice way of putting it. I would say I'm just having a good time doing this.
Yeah, but you're wrapping it up whilst having a good time. It's all wrapped up into having a good time, and that's why it's fun.
I think as well, the fact that you didn't use the word opinion there is important, because it isn't necessarily opinions. It is views.
Yes.
And it is about, obviously we do supply the news, so it's following that ethos of getting the right information out there.
Well, the thing I said, I think you might have noticed on the video, I said, I don't like opinionated people, but I like opinions. I like people with an opinion. Because then that's when you can have a conversation, and then you can have a debate, and then you can talk, and opinions can be changed. I
agree with that. Like, I hate it when those people are like, I just say it as it is. If I don't like something, I just say it. Like, there's no need to, because if you're upsetting people by saying things it's that old age saying, isn't it? Yeah. If you've not anything.
And
nice
also
to
as
say,
well, to be fair, when it's in that situation, it's not necessarily an intelligent view or of what the situation is.
Speaking of
educated view, that's the word I was looking at.
Yeah. Speaking of uneducated people and views, can I just shout out to Siobhan, because I've had my hair done.
Do you know what it is as well? I've also come in, Siobhan, honestly, I'm wearing a cap because I'm scared. You need to have a go at my hairstyle, all right?
Siobhan's
Bring it on,
Siobhan. For us all.
Bring it on, Siobhan. I'm ready for you.
It looks good, Jen.
Thank you.
It looks amazing. It looks fantastic. But this is also one of the things, I know it might be new for you, but I've been doing vlogging, videoing for the last 5-6 years. It's just part and parcel of it, and it's eventually you will get to a point where where you laugh at it and it's funny. Because Siobhan helps towards the views, you know what I mean? So thanks, Siobhan. Thank you so much.
Has there never been a comment that's got to you? Is there nothing that sticks in your head?
There's only one, and I'm talking, this is a little bit serious, is we did Shelley's brother is deaf and autistic, and they did a song together, and it was, I don't know what even the song it was, and there was a comment on there about it, and the fact is somebody then is actually having a comment against a disabled person, and that's the only one that I always remember. Everything else, I get them daily. I'm just like, bring them on. Bring them on. I get them from.
I said to Generic, from years of having the radio before social media.
Yeah.
Used to get criticised and called all sorts of things, and then when we started doing this, people turning around and going, "That's not a 4-head, that's a 5-head," and things just make me laugh. And I mean, shock of all shocks, I've had people call me fat. I mean, that's like the ultimate insult for me. I mean, I've never heard that one before, but it. There is an old adage, isn't there? If they're talking about you, they're not talking about someone else. And I don't have a problem with it at all.
My favourite one that I remember is what you're saying about the sayings is there's apparently in the Atlantic there's crab farmers where people go out and catch the crabs, and you get a bucket of crabs, and if one crab tries to escape, all the other crabs will actually group together and pull that crab back in. So
really?
It's a true story.
That's fascinating.
And I just do not want to be one of them crabs. I want to be the crab climbing out the bucket, and I will climb out the bucket all the time. And there's a lot of people around on the islands, or what it is. I don't know what it is. It's some sort of mentality. It's like, stay in your lane. It's like, why would you have to stay in your lane? You're not choosing my lane.
Yeah.
I'll choose my own lane. I'm quite happy to do what I do. So if you don't like it, move on. I'm fine.
Well, let's talk about social media, because we know that obviously over here, people may not know that you were a golf pro.
3 lives.
I know, golf pro, which we've spoken before about on Steve's show.
Yeah.
But obviously on the pod, people may not know. Obviously, there's the stuff you do with Shelley.
Yes.
You've also been Dick Rapper, and you still compare.
Yes, I did.
Where did Dick Rapper come from? Was it like, were you the Tenerife Honey G?
It's basically,
Honey
G's back around. Honey G's on TikTok.
I keep seeing her on podcasts and stuff.
Yeah, she's back on the.
She's still gangster.
Oh, I'll tell you,
she is.
It came about when it all came from lockdown. The moment lockdown happened, Shelley had literally only moved over 2-3 months previous. And I said to Shelley...
So people realise Shelley used to live here before.
Yes.
Then went back to the UK, did The Voice UK as Diva.
Yes, 2013.
With Maxine.
Maxine Jack.
And Tom Jones was there.
Jessie
In fact, we brought them over. For,
she told me that.
We brought them over for the teas as guest performers as
really?
Diva. Yeah. Which was brilliant. But then she moved back, and obviously the two of you were together.
We actually met in the UK, and I said, on our first date, and she said, "So what are you up to?" I said, "Well, it's a bit awkward, really." I said, "I'm moving to Tenerife." And she went, "I used to live there." And that's how the conversation started. I said, "What do you do for a living?" She went, "I'm a singer." I went, "Any good?" So she pulled up The Voice.
The answer's yes, by the way.
Yeah, eventually I got to YouTube and saw it, and I went, I actually remember watching that on that audition back in the UK. And that was it, really. And we've been together. And then after the first year, after a year, she moved over. We got into lockdown, and I literally said to her on that day, I said, I'm determined to be the person who's going to be thankful for lockdown. So I'm going to make sure that I come out of those blocks running.
You want to be remembered from
and
it,
That's what I did. And it was all that sort of stuff that went on. That's what, we were doing Facebook lives to 25,000 people at one point. But
really?
Yeah. We were doing a quiz, and on a
nuts.
Wind Down Wednesday we were doing, because where literally everyone gets smashed on a Wednesday evening in front of on it. And we were honestly, it was fun. Friday night lives, we were doing everything. And what happened was we realised is, because basically it's an income, isn't it? You need an income. Facebook doesn't give an income, and that was the reason when I flipped over onto we decided to have a go at YouTube. Yeah. And that's where it all started from, and that's how the social media side started. So what happened now is when you Shelley had all these songs as a rock singer. And she said, the trouble is the bands, I like a song with an ending. So I learned GarageBand, how to put an ending on songs. So I did that.
You mean rather than a fade out?
Yeah,
for
rather
people
than a fade
who
out,
are
yeah.
listening,
So a song that ba-bam, finishes. So I learned how to do that. From there, I learned how to film edit. And because I didn't learn how to film edit, what happened is then some of the bars went, can you make me videos?
Well, I was going to say, because one of the things you now do is you run a social media company.
Yes.
And you do social media for other people. So what's the biggest misconception people have about social media? Because everyone thinks it's easy.
What's so funny is I've said to so many people, if you want an hour of my time to come, I'll talk to you and I'll show you what to do. Literally, I will show you. And people go, yeah, that's great. And some people have took me up on that. The funny thing about it is that I can do that because I know out of 100 people, maybe 2% will actually follow it through, because they think it's easy.
Yeah.
And it's not. So therefore, the biggest key that I always say, and we say it to every single one, we say it, the secret, consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. So you doing these pods now, for me, as your customer, I need this consistent. Because if I don't get it consistently, I'll move on.
Yeah.
I'll find something else. And that's the reason why let's say the modern social media people on the island at the moment that we all know, that's the reason why they're killing it, because they're consistent. So you see, I turn around. My favourite, I think Seb. I think Seb at Mustang Sally's. I think he's brilliant. I think he's funny because he's honest as well. He's honest. Yeah. He doesn't wrap it up as a hidden self-promotion. He just self-promotes. This is Mustangs. This is the best smash burger. And that's like what people look for. They want that honesty. Other people, I saw one this morning. And this morning what I saw was, I saw a strange I've never seen before, walked to an Uber Eats and grabs a burger from a well-known burger area. So I'm looking on my phone, I went, who's that? Flicked across. It's an influencer. The guy's got 243,000 picking up a Tenerife burger. I'm like, well, that's paid. But the Wild West over here means you don't have to acknowledge that it's a paid promotion. And that's what I struggle with, because a lot of people just get duped. How many times, Chris? This is the best. This is the best. I've seen one lad promote the best cheese sticks 5 times.
And the best roast dinner everywhere they go, and the best breakfast everywhere you go, and that's obviously what then is the flaw in it.
Yeah.
But what I meant was more from a company perspective, companies who want social media, or who think that doing social media is easy and doing social media doesn't cost anything, because like anything in life, to do it properly, you got to pay for it, haven't you?
Yes.
To boost it, to produce it, to make it.
If you strip it all away, but the biggest cost of all is time. Because the biggest cost is your time that you're putting into it to learn as well. I mean, you look at the equipment that's in the studio. You take that, your area, second nature. I take that now as second nature. I didn't know what that mixing desk was ever, before I met Shelley, and then now I start doing this sort of thing. It's like, so I use video editing materials now. I use so many different programs that I had to learn myself.
Sure.
And that takes time to do. But then, therefore, when you then look at it, hopefully it looks seamless. You might have seen Shelley's video that we did yesterday about launching in the Northeast. That was that was half an hour's worth of filming, an hour and 15's worth of editing, but only because I knew what I was doing to put it together.
Sure.
Graphics, etc., and stuff like that. And that's what it comes down to. And it's like, and the big secret is consistency is the key. The one message that I want to get out across, I'm not here to actually self-promote, but if you're a business in Tenerife, in the olden days, this is a great analogy. You're staying at the Columbus, okay? So you walk out the Columbus, and one day you turn left and go, what's down there? Let's have a look down there. Oh, I see this, I see that, I see the other. The next day, let's go right. You go there, oh, we're heading to Los Cristianos, I see this. That was the old holidays of what used to happen.
Sure.
Or you had the welcome meetings where you go, we recommend Thursday this, Friday that, whatever it is. Now what happens is, 8 months before they arrive, they book Tenerife. And once they've paid that amount, they go, right, what is on in this area? What can we find? And that's where I come in, or me, actually I work with my daughter, that's where we come in, because we are all over the social media on presence for what's going on in Las Americas, whether it be Paddy O'Kelly's the Night Owl, whether it be Mustang. We're there, and that's where people go, oh, that looks good. And it's not the fact that it's better than anywhere else. What it is, it's in your face. It's on your,
it's on your algorithm,
table. It's on your table, and then that's what you see, and then you miss the other one. Sorry, Jenny, I talk too much as well. I know.
No,
that
I'm
as
listening.
Well.
I'm intrigued, because I think you're right with the consistency is key thing, but that also maybe undersells what you do, because I feel like, oh, okay, I just be consistent. But to be consistent, like you say, it's a lot of time and it's exhausting.
And creativity.
And creativity, the content side of it, like actual what you're going to put out there. It's easy to go...
Shelley's absolutely over the moon at the moment, because when I look after now 15 businesses across the south, from Gulf del Sur all the way over to Adeki, and every morning I'm sat in front of my laptop doing stuff, or I'm filming, I'm sat there, and eventually I get to a point where I turn to a business and I just get a blank, and I go, right, and I have to go off and go and do the washing, or go and do clean the dishes, or go and, I've got to, because you get away from, because you just go blank.
So you're getting your ideas when you're doing the chores. That's what you're saying.
So I'm walking around and chewing it in my head, and it's things like that. I go and walk in the dog sometimes without headphones, because I can think about what to try. Yeah, sure. Because it is the creation is also.
I sit on the toilet.
I've never been one of them. I've never been one of them.
I'd like to offer, if you're ever like run out of stuff to clean and you want to just pop round, come and let your creative juices flow all over my house.
There's the clip.
Oh yeah, there it is. There's the clip. Clip one. But it's the creative side is most probably the hardest part. Especially some of the businesses, they want fresh videos every week. Or I normally do. I promise normally 2 a week at minimum, and they want fresh every week. And then you just go, I don't know what to do.
How many times can you show a beer being served?
A cocktail, a burger.
Well, that's the truth, isn't it? That's the truth. But it's like, how many? At the moment, we're in a quiet month. April's quiet for the island, isn't it? Because it's like Easter holidays. All the hotels are full for the kids, but the actual bars are quiet. It's not busy enough. I'm like, I can't. Oh, actually, I can AI generate people into the bars these days, but I won't. But it's so you've got to just think sometimes a little bit more outside the box, I think. But that's also the fun part as well. That's what I enjoy doing as well.
But I think what I was saying was, I mean, the conception or people's preconceived idea about radio, for example, is that it's expensive. But their preconception of social media is that it's very cheap. Whereas probably in reality, the two can be quite equally priced, because social media, to do it properly, is more expensive than you realise.
Yes.
And radio is probably over here cheaper than people think. And I think one of the problems is that people get pigeonholed into, as you just said, with ideas, with creative, of doing the same thing, and not realising if you want your business to be successful, you've got to do more than one thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we see this with the events we do at the Infanta Leonor, which we get criticised for as well, because they're tribute bands, not real bands. But, we have to do billboards and posters.
Real Whitney, Chris.
Oh, I know.
Real Tom Jones.
I know, exactly. He has been here, though, hasn't he, in all fairness. But
Paddy the Baddy's been here this week.
He has. But you've got to combine it with billboards, with radio, because, as you said, that consistency is so important.
Yes.
But it's important across the board.
Yeah.
And that's what I think I find people's naivety is with social media, that it's a case of, you can't just put a post out, your friends see it, and you're going to get busy. To do it properly, it takes time, money. When you say consistency, it's continuously posting, coming up with ideas and
it's like a subliminal thing, because I find that with maybe radio, people might be like, oh, I advertised on the radio 10 years ago and it didn't really work. But it's more like getting it, like you just said earlier, like it needs to be almost in your face. So they're going to see one post on TikTok of the Night Owl, for example. That's not necessarily going to make them go, but they might drive past something or scroll past something on Facebook or hear it on the radio, and bit by bit it's like dripping in, and it's like
they say you need 5 messages for something to stick in your subconscious, and
psychology
absolutely, and whether those messages are audio, visual, video, poster or whatever. This is why the big brands advertise in so many different places, because obviously it's that subliminal or that psychological way of advertising to people that they need 5 messages before they remember what a product or a brand is.
In my in another previous life, I was car sales. This now makes sense.
Me too.
I was car sales.
So was I.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things, I worked for a major company in the UK, and we had a computer system. And what the first question was, okay, so what made you come in today? And they went, I saw the car in the paper. And it's like, they said, that is not what we want. We want to know what made them in their head think they want to change to buy a car.
Yeah.
Not the fact they've seen a car, because before that they've made the decision anyway. So it's like, what made you decide to go purple with your hair? What made you all of a sudden to go, I'm going to go to the shops to buy some clothes? Not because you need the clothes, something in your brain triggers it to say, and that's what that was the fundamental thing they were always trying to find. What actually what generates it? For me, the one thing that you guys did so well that I'll never forget was that massive poster of you on the banana field on the motorway. I'll never forget that. And I looked at it.
She didn't know about it.
I know. I don't
About
remember
it,
it. But I thought it was brilliant because it was in your face. I wouldn't notice it. Of the 1,000 times I've done the journey, I might not notice it 900 times, but 100 times I noticed it. And that's what it is, and that's what it then sits in the brain. And that's actually psychology of marketing, really.
I have a friend in the UK who works for a big race course, and she was head of marketing, and she was telling me about the things she does, and part of it would be like to ring up Coronation Street and be like, can you get our magazine on the top
on the table,
like, things like that. I was like,
product placement,
product placement, didn't even.
Well, it's like what cars?
Think about it.
You look at movies now, for instance. Look at Iron Man. Iron Man, their cars are all Audis.
Yeah.
So Audi have paid to get into the Iron Man, into the MCU franchise.
And don't forget that Audi also own other brands like Lamborghini, Volkswagen, so on and so forth. So their other products, not just Audi, but their other cars will be in there as well. So you won't see a Ferrari, you'll see a Lamborghini. And it's product placement. And very famously, James Bond with the BMWs in the Pierce Brosnan era.
Yes, because he went from Aston Martin to BMW.
Absolutely,
that's
it was all BMW. And it's huge business. My cousin is the producer of Gladiators.
Really?
Yeah.
We've been watching that.
Well,
it's proper chewing gum TV, isn't it?
Well,
chewing gum for the eyes.
My kids went to it. My kids went to it to the
Did they?
recording. I said to Jen she can go if she wants. It's,
fantastic.
they record it in Sheffield.
Yeah, big warehouse. Isn't it?
Yeah, and the arena.
Yeah.
And but she's also worked on loads of other programs before that, and she actually dealt with what you're saying, Jen, product placement, but within TV shows.
Yeah.
And it's massive business, huge business, and the money generated is huge as well. It's a huge income stream for the BBC, even though they're a non-commercial business. It's a commercial department that, like sales of programs, is that they generate income from.
They're just Derren Browning it, aren't they? Really?
Oh, absolutely.
They're just like proper messing with our heads.
Absolutely. I find it fascinating. I don't find it. Think I'm being tricked. I actually like finding it out, and I find it fascinating. The psychology of marketing just fascinates. It always has done.
Have KitKat been in touch with you yet, Jen?
Not yet, but I keep getting a couple of messages on the Oasis FM WhatsApp. A few people are messaging me like about the KitKat.
So here you go. I was listening to the KitKat. I saw your TikTok. I thought it was very funny. I thought it was brilliant because of it as well. I actually stopped the pod and went onto the TikTok to see it. I thought it was great. KitKat now have a website where when you buy your KitKat, you can type the code in and to see if you're eating a stolen KitKat.
It's true, yeah.
So how many KitKats were stolen?
Like
500,000?
12 tons, 413,000.
Okay, so how much was that in cost, do you reckon? Do you not think it's a fantastic marketing idea?
Like, are we saying maybe the KitKats aren't even missing?
That's what I'm saying. Do you not think it's a cheaper market? Because what it's done, it's not gone out as an advert. It's now gone as viral. It's gone across all social media platforms.
You can't scroll it
And
the
it's
minute
got a
without
reach.
looking at someone talking about.
But that,
KitKats.
if it is, it's genius. Absolutely genius marketing, if that's the case.
There you go.
They've Derren Browners again. They've Derren Browners. I don't know who to trust anymore.
And you've been accused of it.
Trust nobody, Jen. Trust nobody.
I've been accused of a crime that probably didn't even happen. Where is the lorry? Where is the lorry? Don't they have those boxes on like they do on aeroplanes where you should always...
Does it not make you want to go and buy a KitKat and put the code in though, just to see I'm eating a stolen KitKat?
Yeah.
Because that's the next. So what happens is that marketing campaign, if it is, will last a few more weeks or a few more months. It'll stay in the limelight,
well spent.
especially around Easter. You know, so it's like around the Easter period. I generally thought, hopefully, I don't think they have.
Jen, have we got a conspiracy theorist with us today? What do you think?
Right. Now you've said it.
I think why not? I think it's a great idea.
I can't unthink it. KitKat have adders.
But your TikTok was very funny. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I bought KitKats for that. So
Yeah.
there's.
And have you checked the codes on them?
Actually, haven't. No.
Have you eaten them all yet?
No, I don't. The worst thing about this is I don't even love a Kit Kat. I don't mind a Kit Kat chunky white, but if I was gonna, a white. Kit
I know
Kat,
I know what that is. Yeah,
A Kit Kat chunky white.
I'm very specific. If I'm
Are
having
they the
a
ones
Kit
you
Kat,
break your teeth on?
Do you not feel
in the
a winner
fridge.
when you get 4 sticks and one's just all chocolate all the way through? Have you ever got it?
I've had that. Yeah.
I would never
like getting a
choose
double
a
yolk,
Kit
innit?
Kat. If I was stood in a supermarket in front of a shelf of chocolate, I would never choose a Kit
What
Kat.
would
I'd
you
never
choose?
choose a Mars. It would always change. I like a Snickers. I like a Twirl. I like a Whisper. I like a Whisper Gold. I might sometimes be in the mood for a Kinder Bueno, but it's very rare. What I love is just a Cadbury's Caramel.
Oh, okay, I'm a bounty, literally a bounty. I
Bounty?
like, yeah, the
I
blue
don't know
bounty.
if I should ask you to leave now.
Although you could say he's the best friend you could ever have.
Because
if you look at celebrations or whichever one it is, you know,
everyone leaves the bounties.
Rick's going to eat all the
So
ones nobody
true.
wants.
I've always said anybody that would choose a bounty has like psychopathic mentality.
Oh, definitely.
So that's probably right.
I'm fine.
But we
Yeah,
can still be
I'm
friends.
very comfortable with that fact as well, Joe.
I also got told recently, though, those people that have wild colours in their hair might be mentally unstable. So maybe this is just a friendship, like. Let's
Riffing.
have
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We haven't had any stinger finger yet.
No, I need a stinger finger.
Did we want to just touch on Rick, because we've talked about Shelley a lot, and like maybe people don't really know who Shelley is. Can we give Shelley a brief mention?
If you want to.
Can you
that.
explain it? Because she's been having quite a moment, hasn't she?
It's she's doing all right. Yeah, she's not doing too bad,
She's
to be honest with
doing
you.
all right.
She's doing all right. She was Shelley's a singer on the island. When I first saw Shelley perform, I thought straight away, this is a lady who has not reached the pinnacle of her career. I was fortunate enough, Chris, you mentioned the fact I was a golf pro. I was fortunate enough to do golf pro and become a professional and reach the pinnacle of my career.
How pro are we talking about? Sorry, like what?
How what?
How pro are we talking about?
I was a scratch player when I was 16. I got qualified by the Professional Golf Association.
So scratch means, Jen,
Zero.
that zero handicap. All right. So the worse you are, the higher your handicap. All right? So I probably have a handicap. The highest handicap you can have is 28 as a man.
Yeah.
All right? If you're playing off scratch, off zero, it means that you live on Amarillo Golf, yeah?
Yeah.
You can go around Amarillo Golf Course. It's 71, isn't it?
I think
There,
it's
or
past 71, yeah.
You can go around that in the number of shots specified like the professionals can, although I know they're going to say they're off mine plus 3 or whatever, but it's very, very good.
So I went to the Netherlands. I taught golf in the Netherlands for 15 years. I realised I was not good enough to be at the level I wanted to be. The only way to explain it, to simplify it, is I was a Division 4 footballer who wanted to play in the Premiership.
Right.
Okay.
So I was still a good footballer, but I wanted to be in the Premiership. So I was in a job that was disappointing.
So you sacked it off because
Yeah. I've reached the pinnacle of my career, but that's as high as I could go. But I saw Shelley; she hasn't. And to me, it was like, well, what can I do to try and help get this? Because she's my partner. So, you know, what can I do to get my partner to achieve and reach where she is? She's already done The Voice of UK at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So New Year's Day, not gone, the one before, 2025, I applied for The Voice of Holland.
Why Holland? Because I know, obviously, people will know Simon Roberts over here, who was on The Voice Holland before it got pulled.
Yeah.
There was a bit of scandal over the programme, which we won't go into when we've got time. But why Holland?
To be honest with you, it's people like Simon that pave the way. Nobody ever has an original idea in the world. No, somebody always picks up something and then takes it into a different path. And that's what I did. I saw Simon on The Voice of Holland and I thought, well, if he can do it, so can I, because I speak fluent Dutch. I actually speak the language fluently. So I applied for it from that. And
because you were over there for 15 years.
Yeah, because I was there for
right.
15 years. People say an accountant, imagine an accountant, they just see numbers. They have what's called a number bubble in their head. I was told in the Netherlands, I spoke the language within 8 months. I actually have a language bubble in my head.
Can you speak Spanish?
Yes. Yeah, I can now. I'm most probably, I'm on about 5 tenses in, so it's like preterite, all that sort of stuff. Perfect. I've done all that. Yeah. I've only learned Spanish in the last 2 years because I lived on Golf del Sur. So I came away and I had to go away to go and learn it. And then, properly I was in Guia de Azor, and now I'm in San Miguel. So I can converse in Spanish now. But it's not nowhere near as proficient as my Dutch. I literally think in Dutch. So if I want to, I'll just flip straight away.
It explains so much.
It does, doesn't it? But it does.
I can say a phrase in Dutch.
Go on then.
Go on.
I can say 2. I feel like 1 is the one that people always say, Godverdomme.
Very good.
And then, ik heb een lepel nodig.
You haven't you need a spoon?
Yeah.
They see
What's the spoon?
Label.
It's lepel.
What was the dick bit?
Ik heb een lepel nodig.
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 I worked with a lot of people from Holland,
Very
and I don't know
good.
why. That was one thing that stuck in my head that they taught me.
And the first phrase?
Godverdomme.
Okay, so you hear that, but actually, when you actually get into where we used to live, the
Hot
G.
for Dom. Who's Dom?
It means but the G's normally like Godverdomme.
Godverdomme.
Yeah. So that, and the 880 prachtige krachten, 888 perfect canals. That's what they say. That's the tongue twister.
I love the Dutch.
It's great,
The
man.
Dutch are great people. Was it good living there?
Oh, it's amazing. I had a great time, and it's just live
Where
family.
were you?
I was in the east, right, which means I was 10 minutes from the German border, which is the equivalent of like the Lake District. So everyone says, listen, because it's that sort of holiday place, and they go, everybody can speak English, but you're in our country, you speak our language now, and because it's so much in like Emmerdale farm country, the farmers just literally you had to learn the language,
Right.
and it was the best thing. If I was near Amsterdam,
A bit like living in
think-
San Miguel.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have had the opportunity.
I went to Amsterdam on Kevin Isaac's stag do,
Look at that.
and I shared a room with Jock,
Jock, as
DJ
in-
Jock.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
Now, there's several stories that I can't tell,
Yeah, best
great.
not.
as you can imagine.
It's great.
But what I must say was, you're not going to believe this. 7 lads on a stag do in Amsterdam. What do you think the best thing
I'm
we
stepping
did
out of this
was?
conversation.
Space cakes.
Pardon?
Space cakes.
No. We went on a cycle ride,
With the beer.
and it was brilliant because Holland's flat.
Yes.
And
Well, and an actual
no,
bike, or
on
that-
bicycles, not on one of those
okay.
beer. What,
They do the beer tours, don't
not
they?
the beer
Yeah,
They're
tours.
great.
fun.
No, and it was brilliant. An actual cycle tour. We had a guide who I think she was from Canada or America or somewhere, and it was brilliant. And it was like, lads in Amsterdam. What should we do? Cycling.
Fantastic city. So we went back there 6 times this last year. We went back 6
Wow.
times because she got
For
onto
The Voice.
She got on The Voice of Holland. The 4 people, the judges, 2 turned. One is Dinant, who is an old rock singer who did "Rain on Me" and they remixed it with Chesto 20 years ago. It's an amazing hit, really. So I know that song because I
Yeah.
lived there at the time. And the others was Suzanne and Freek, and Suzanne and Freek are a duo, who are a couple, married couple duo, and they are hot at this moment in time. They've got like 140 million streams on Spotify. So she went with Suzanne and Freek, and she got through the blinds, went to Suzanne and Freek, got to the battles, and a battle normally is 1 against 1, which is a 50-50, but they turned too many times, so it was 1 against 2. So her odds go from 50% to 33. Then they threw ABBA at her, which is nothing against ABBA. It's not. Shelley doesn't sing ABBA. And it was just a shame. And just before, you know the writing's on the wall before it actually happens, I think.
Right.
And it was one of those now, it's like came off the show last
And also
Friday.
she'd got the experience of the UK one as well,
yeah,
so
yeah.
she kind of knew from a production side what happens.
Yeah. She could read the room, really.
Yeah.
And it was just, now we're looking to see what will happen off that, because it was literally last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that, beforehand, the socials were going through the roof. And this is a funny thing about social media. She has 242,000 followers on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And it's me. I do all the social media. If we ever split up, I get the socials. That's the joke. I remember walking into a gig with Shelley singing, and I was going to cancel TikTok. So when it's not our audience, What do we do? We're old. We're over 50. It's not our audience. And we're in that gig, and there was a table of 4 inside, not outside, because outside is where everybody was. They were inside because they couldn't get outside. And they went, "Yeah, we saw her on TikTok, and that's the reason why we're here." And if it wasn't for them 4 people, Shelley Tenerife would not exist on TikTok.
It's funny because I get people from the Canarian Weekly,
Yeah.
particularly in Iceland, or the
Always.
food companies it's called now.
Yeah.
It's not overseas.
Oh, I heard about this
Don't
one.
call it
No, it's
overseas.
genuinely.
It's still Iceland to me. Sorry.
Exactly.
It can't-
But I get it all the time in Iceland. People coming up saying, "Oh, you're the guy from Canarian Weekly on TikTok," but they always say TikTok,
Yeah.
and they're in the 60s.
Yeah.
And it's like TikTok always used to be the young person's social media, but it's all age groups are using it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean they're putting content on it.
No,
does it?
that's the truth. The thing, also, the second thing that went really well was actually changing the name from Shelley to Shelley Tenerife, because
Oh, okay.
there's Shelleys everywhere, but there's
Yeah.
only one Shelley Tenerife.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that really stuck for people as well. So they know that it is. And these little tricks. I mean, here's a trick of it. I don't even know if you guys do it. When you post your own TikTok, do you put your hashtag Canarian Weekly on your hashtags? Because
Not all the time.
I always hashtag Shelley Singer. Whatever bar I do, hashtag Paddy O'Kelly's, hashtag. The reason being is because the first thing people do is look, what's the name of that bar again? Paddy O'Kelly. Paddy O'Kelly.
Got ya.
And it hits the hashtag. So it hits my video. So it doesn't hit other videos. It
Got
hits
ya.
mine because it's in the hashtag for it as well. So it's just little things like that. It's the consistency for
Note to self, Jen.
help
Write it
algorithms.
down, yeah.
Little things like that.
Well, thanks for that.
Thank you.
You for updating us, and thank you for the info, and thanks for the conspiracy theory. I can't stop thinking about the Kit Kat thing, but yeah. Let's move on to some news from this week. Stinger finger.
Stinger finger. I like this is the bit I like. When you're going across socials, aren't you? Pulling stuff. I like this bit.
I just
Come on, tell me what you got.
I just got the stinger finger
You got stinger
in
finger
my
there.
face.
Like, don't you dare talk over my stinger.
So there's been several different stories I'd like to touch on. We won't go in depth, but I'd like to touch on some good, some bad. There is obviously one we need to discuss or need to mention, which is the Supreme Court are looking at the rental laws in the Canary Islands, i.e. holiday lets.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this stems from a case in Gran Canaria in Playa del Inglés. Now, specifically, obviously, VV licenses, holiday lets, rental laws, it's a huge area and it's obviously fraught with all sorts of different scenarios, yeah? But specifically what they're looking at is people who are not allowed to rent their apartments themselves that they own on holiday complexes. All right? So basically, Jen, years ago, holiday complexes used to be holiday complexes and residential complexes were residential complexes. All right? In 2015, the laws changed that areas that were classed as touristic zones, so if you take obviously Arona, Adeki, those sort of places, you could then have VV licenses on residential complexes. That's how that all comes about. But the situation with tourist complexes is if you buy an apartment on what's classified as a tourist complex, so it's one that has the pool open, has lifeguards at the pool, has a reception, because these are the stipulations you have to become a holiday complex. Residential complexes obviously don't have to have a 24-hour reception and they can gate off the pool, yeah? Then each complex has what's known as an exploitation company, in Spanish, exploitación, which is basically a management company, and they're responsible for running the pool, running the reception, but they are also the ones who've got the rights to rent out your apartment as a holiday let. Okay, you can't do it yourself. So
Right.
you buy the apartment in the same way as if you buy one, you can't live in it either unless you're there pre-2017. That's a different. I'm not going to go
Okay.
into all of it because we're hoping to get somebody on who's going to come and talk about
Minefield,
VV
isn't it?
license. It is, yeah. So basically, what they're saying, the Supreme Court are looking at the case because they're saying that the situation that you have to hand your apartment over to a third party for them to dictate, you can say when you want to use it for personal use only, not to rent to your family or friends or anything else. If it's seen as rented out, you can be reported and be in trouble. But obviously, they also dictate how much you get returned on it. So they dictate the rental prices and also the return you get. And the Supreme Court are actually investigating this to see if it goes against EU law or EU regulations for freedom of trading, as it were.
Yeah, so yeah.
So this could be hugely beneficial to people who do own apartments, holiday let apartments on
Means they're not gonna be
tourist
capped.
complexes. Pardon?
Means they're not going to be capped anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So basically it means that they'd be able to rent them out themselves without handing them over to the exploitation or the management company for them to rent them out for them.
Does not everyone that has an accommodation on a tourist complex has like this isn't on every complex, is it? Because
On holiday complexes,
on every holiday complex.
there has to be a certain percentage of the apartments that are owned or put forward for exploitation. All right.
Okay.
So, in theory, it is, yes.
Right. I
All
didn't
right.
know that.
So
Okay.
people who are renting them out themselves are effectively, shouldn't
in a
be.
fast one.
But, again, as I said, it's a minefield. So don't want to go into all the do's and don'ts because people will comment and go, that's
Yeah,
wrong,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
wrong, that's
Yeah.
wrong. And we're not saying that. All right. I'm not going into all the rules about it. But this could be beneficial for
Yeah.
anyone who has got an apartment on on a tourist complex, all right? This is not residential complexes, this is not individual properties and villas and rural properties, etc. This is purely on holiday complexes.
So when are the Supreme Court saying they should have like
well, it's being looked at the moment. It's being looked at the moment. The case has been accepted, which is a major thing, because for them to actually say they're going to look at it and study it further means that they do believe there is something. Yeah. You know, they wouldn't accept an appeal if there was no grounds for it. Okay. So it is a step in the right direction for people who own rental properties.
Do you not think it's gone too far? That it's too far to take? You know, like you've gone too far down a road to be able to turn it round and bring it back. Because the way you're looking at the living crisis, let's say, in Tenerife at the moment, to try and find a place to live. Do you not think it's just gone too far down that road? 2015
was the big turning point when they allowed VV licenses or holiday apartments on residential complexes. Yeah. You know, because in theory the clue's in the name, isn't it? Residential. Yeah. So you know that's the difficult one. Yes, they're bringing in so many stipulations, which again we'll go into on a future pod, where if you now sell that apartment, the VV license isn't transferable, so it can only be done for long-term let or residential living, and likewise. You know, the communities now can vote against any future holiday lets and so on and so on and so forth. But yes, I mean, it's a mess. It's a huge mess. I know you did an article a couple of weeks ago, a week ago, where it said that holiday let properties are at their lowest level for 2 years, I think it was, wasn't it?
So, yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and, you know, there are properties that have been returned to the housing market because for several different reasons. I think one of the big problems, Rick, is that not all the, you know, people have applied for VVs, got them, but the inspections haven't been done because there isn't enough manpower or inspectors to actually carry out the process. So, you know, it's almost like turning around and giving out a load of bar licenses, which they never did. You never got your opening license, you got your application. Yeah. With, you know, before they'd actually passed it. So it's a very difficult one, which is why I don't want to go into detail, but it is one that's being talked about hugely. Now, on the same line of what you've just said, there's two complexes, one in Adeki and one in Arona. In Adeki, it's in the main town, which is for 51. They call it social housing over here, public housing, but obviously we're talking council houses, equivalent of 51 apartments in Adeki and 59 in Las Rosas. Down towards Las Quietas, all right? Yeah. Now, the good news about these is that although the projects have been passed, they're all being fast-tracked now. Right. All right? People are turning around and saying, what about these empty buildings? What about these pieces of land? The empty buildings very often have been there that long that it would be cheaper and safer to knock them down and start again. But obviously everything takes time. But these have been fast-tracked. And to give you an idea, the prices of these apartments, once they're built for the affordable housing, are somewhere between 450 and 550 euros a month, which, you know, depends on whether they're one bed, two bed, got garages, Trasteros, storerooms or whatever. So, you know, it's a start. There's 110 houses there. We need a lot more, but it's a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. I think it's also what you just said about it's affordable living as well, which is important. You know what I mean? When you said
that's the thing,
550, because people are just getting priced out of the place completely. I had the conversation even yesterday. I saw a guy in one of the bars, and I said, have you found yourself a place to live? He said, only till the end of the month, because he's literally just jumping almost like sofa till he can find somewhere, because he works behind a bar, he's single, he's, let's say, a divorced dad, and he's obviously got commitments to his child as well. So then, therefore, what's left in that pot?
Absolutely. You know what I mean? One of the situations, Rick, is that people turn around and go, but it's the same in other holiday resorts. You know, it's the same in Ibiza, it's the same in Mallorca, it's the same. Yeah, but they're only open for a few months of the year. Yeah. It's 12 months of the year here. So it's obviously, you know, people have to find somewhere to live permanently, not just for a season. Yeah. Now, the law says that the rent should not exceed 30% of what your wages are. And that is obviously what your declared wages are. More and more people on proper nominas now following COVID, of course. Yeah. But if the average wage is a take-home of 1,600, 1,500, 1,600 a month, the 450s and 550s fit into that category. Yeah. But
try and find a place for that price.
You try and find... well, exactly. You know, you're looking at a one-bed or possibly a two-bed,
I think slightly out of town for,
say 1,200, then you've got to almost justify $4,000 as income stable income and guaranteed income to be able to rent that place.
I was literally saying to this lad, I said, why don't you see if you can get 4 of your mates and go and rent a big villa? Because a big villa might be $2,500. I said,
100%.
Divide that by the 4 of you. You know what I mean? And it's like, then all of a sudden it becomes affordable.
Yeah.
And I think that's most probably going to be another direction that people will start looking at now.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of empty villas around. Because nobody's paying the prices of 2.5 plus upwards.
Sure.
But you get a bit, 5 bedrooms and stuff like that. It's a doable thing, viable option.
Yeah, I think I did a story last year on the Canary Weekly about the average wage people get in the Canary Islands is more like 1,300, and the average they'd need a month is about nearly 1,700. So every month people are like already like €400.
Yeah, and that's only to pay the rent. That's not to justify it for rental.
That was
Do you know
just
what I mean?
like
So it's even more difficult.
And there doesn't seem to be that much help. Like, I mean, I'm not going to go into this because I'm not an expert on it, so I don't want to say anything wrong. But there doesn't seem to be loads of help out there for people that are a few €100 maybe out.
One of the main problems is that there hasn't really been any social housing for almost 10 years. New built for 10 years in areas that need it, particularly here in the south. And this goes back to what we were saying about people complaining about the schools being shut, and we're trying to actually say to them it's because the teachers don't live down here because they can't afford to or can't find anywhere, and that is fact. But it's not just teachers. That's the same with people who work in hospitals. There's more and more people travelling from outside in, not only because they can't necessarily find somewhere, but if they do find somewhere, they can't justify the wages to be able to legally justify the wages to be able to afford it or get it.
It's I don't see it. I generally don't see a solution to it. It's like this things like you said, the housing, the amount of cars on the island. I don't see a solution. I think they've gone too far. I mean, at what point did somebody say we'll just allow every car hire company in the world to come down here and just like turn this place into a car park? And even now to a point, I think with the Canary Weekly saying that the businesses 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago said, it's actually affecting business. I think the business commerce.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they just choose certain times. We're fortunate because we now live on this side, whereas before for a year and a half we lived on that side. So we were coming through to a decky every afternoon. Now we go the other way. It's a lot easier.
Sure.
So we're against the traffic. Whereas you just see it sometimes. You just go, what on earth has happened to create?
And it's not necessarily down to accidents. It's just literally down to volume of traffic or slow moving up the hill.
Yesterday, Los Abrigos, we had an afternoon in Los Abrigos, and it's like, where do you park? I mean, we're literally nearly parked heading towards La Tejita. We're nearly out of Los Abrigos to try and find somewhere to park. And it's not, I'm not saying, poor me, how dare we, but it's like, it's a solution that can be solved. I think you mentioned it a few years ago. It's like every house, if they put every car on the road, it'd be gridlocked because every household has
that's true, yeah.
I remember a story you said about that.
Yeah.
And it's, it's just ridiculous. I've actually bought, now I've got a moped as well, I've got a 125. No traffic on a 125. I just use that, and Shelley can have the car.
Park where you want.
And it's just go where it's easy. honestly, but that's like that's then is that the start of how Thailand is this what happened in Thailand all those years ago? Yeah. Did everyone just go sod it? I'm getting a bike, and now everybody's got bikes. Is that the way to go with it? Because this is ridiculous.
Too many hills here.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Who knew Tenerife was on a hill? Who knew that? But it's true. It's just things. It's things like that you see, and you just housing's definitely one, traffic's definitely another.
Well, it's an interesting one, Rick, because obviously everyone sort of says, well, the solution is to build the third lane of the motorway.
No.
Which that may. You will have a slow lane, so that may speed up people getting to their destination quicker. The problem is when you pull off the motorway, you've now got a larger volume of traffic trying to get into Los Cristianos, trying to get into Las Americas, trying to get into Faneuil Bay.
The infrastructure of the towns is where it's gone wrong. Is obviously you've got the pretty and flower beds all the way down the middle, but that does mean then that you've got to go all the way. Everybody's on the same circuits.
Sure.
Where
and they took out parking to put them in.
Yes. Yeah, that's the other thing as well. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. But it's things like that. It's like as we live here, I'm incredibly fortunate to live in Tenerife. I absolutely love it. I feel that I'm privileged to live here. It's a beautiful place, and I'm proud of living here. Mm-hmm. But people say, what's the worst thing? For me, the worst thing is housing. I'm fortunate, doing a role that I do, having a partner that we do, working that we do. Other people are not that fortunate.
Sure.
The gentleman that was serving me yesterday was in a cafe. He must have been 20 years older than me, no teeth, and he's must have done that all his life. And it's like he would struggle. Those are the people that you look and you go.
Do you know what? It's interesting because we opened Oasis FM in Ibiza in 2004, 2003, 2004, and I remember I've said this before that And I used to go over there in the winter, and it was obviously shut. And then in the summer, it'd be an invasion, and I had to do the business stuff, so the banking and all the rest of it. So you're around about in the morning when people are taking kids to school, and you talk to the locals. And although they accepted tourism because it was for a short period of time, there was definite effects that it affected their day-to-day life.
Yeah.
In the sense of, I'm not talking about people off their nut.
No, they just want to send kids to school.
But talking about in general, yeah. And we were kind of, lucky enough that it didn't happen over here. And over there, if you'd managed to find somewhere to rent yourself that you can afford, you've really hit the jackpot. Whereas we never had the stories of people renting a garage for 500 euros a month, or people living in a shed in someone's back garden for $7. But now we do have that.
Shanty towns. It's like on an island as rich as Tenerife, we have shanty towns. It's like what a shame. It's not a life choice. Some people it's a life choice, but it's not a life choice.
But like you say, what is the solution? Like, where do you even go? I think that's a whole I
think the barge has gone too far down the canal to be able to turn. I think it's too tight. I don't know. The only thing that can happen is an implosion. Of like a financial implosion, a crash or something, because I can't see people. It's like people are just seem to be putting band-aids over the problems. You know what I mean? And I just don't see it. Literally, what you just said there, the housing, 50 houses, 40 houses, it's fantastic, but it's nowhere near enough.
No, not at all.
But then they'll go, but it's the start. It's the start. So the trouble is,
the only positive bit is that they are fast tracking them.
Yeah.
So it's not taking as long as it used to or should do. They've set up a process to be able to fast track this to get things moving quickly.
Yeah.
So that's a positive. The other bit I wanted to mention. There is obviously in the news about the employers can face a fine of up to €7,500 if they don't allow 12 hours in between shifts for staff. Now, particularly in things in hospitality, I'm sure we all know people who may have finished at 1 o'clock in the morning, have got to be back at work at 9 the next day, and that is not allowed.
Wow.
I didn't know this.
Has it been always not allowed, but just a bit of a grey area, or?
Effectively, yes, but obviously it's something that work inspectors are now starting to impose. You are entitled to 36 hours off in a row as well. I know people, obviously, you don't have to have 2 days back to back.
Yeah.
People are doing that. But you are entitled to 36 hours, but not including split shifts. People do work split shifts, and that's an agreement. That's different. But you're talking of, particularly in things like hospitality, this thing of 12 hours in between shifts, and it's something that, so if someone finishes at 10 o'clock at night, they can't legally start till 10 o'clock the next day. And it's becoming easier to enforce, particularly in bars, because it's all digital logins now, which the work inspectors or the inspectorates and the social security can look at. So,
is there any leeway in regards? I suppose especially in bars, people are ringing sick or whatever, and there's an opportunity for somebody to cover a shift, and they get
obviously there's always situations that obviously that have to be taken into account accordingly. But again, it's what is the norm, not the exception.
So they can't be forced to, but if they were to accept an extra shift on their choosing.
Yeah, of course. If they're replacing someone, then obviously there's always situations like that. Now, the last one, you'll like this one, Rick. I reckon this one's up your street, because officially, according to Travelex, cash is still king.
Interesting.
All right.
Interesting.
69% of international travellers favour cash over cards when abroad. Generally, the younger generation travel without any cash.
Yeah, so everything's on the phone, isn't it?
Phone gets stolen.
Yeah, you see that a lot, actually. You actually see that a lot. I've seen that a few times over here now, that people they've lost the phone, and it's like somebody at the bar had to give them the money to get them a taxi home or something like that.
Boarding passes, everything.
Your life's on the phone, isn't it?
Dutch travellers lead the way. 91% of the Dutch prefer cash, apparently.
Because they have a lot of black money, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Brits, 79% of Brits prefer to pay with cash. Why do you reckon?
Zwarte geld, black money.
I guess it's convenient, isn't it? People don't get
convenience is one of them. When you're on holiday, for tips and taxes and things like that.
Yeah, I do believe that people in the bars who work in the bars saying that because everybody's on the card now, the tips have dramatically dropped. Because it's just people just go ping and they don't even think about it, Whereas our generation was always like, is that the bill? Okay, so I need that, and we do the maths of how much you think you should leave, were it worthy? Just that couple of seconds, that makes a massive difference for people.
One of the concerns from people is avoiding fees, and I think let's be honest, the ATMs over here, the Euro ATMs or whatever, the fees on those are astronomical.
That's another bandit country, that, isn't it? That's bandits.
Astronomical. So that's one that people need to avoid. And people are buying their cash in advance apparently as well.
Like proper old school in it, getting themselves down to Marks and Spencer's Currencies Exchange and getting a little wallet of cash.
Seeing Sheila at Marks and Sparks.
Yeah, I used to love that part. Like, it's nearly time. I'm going to go and get my cash converted.
Guess who's complaining though?
Is it Siobhan?
Come on, Siobhan. Come on.
What's it now, Siobhan?
Currency exchange places at airports, apparently, their business is down.
Yeah, well, it will be if you're planning ahead.
Well, not only that, let's be honest, the worst exchange rate is at a currency place in an airport.
Yeah.
Very often you see it 1 for 1.
They've got
you. Do you remember those days when you used to say it was 1 for 1?
I've never seen a queue at one of those places. Rarely see a person. There's always just some like lonely dude behind the glass.
I think it could be a front, Jen. It could be a front for a different like mafia business or something. Because nobody uses them. It's like the Turkish barbers. You know what I mean?
You are blowing my mind today with your conspiracy theory. I feel like we need to do an episode just on.
Come round and have some tea. I've got loads.
But what do you think? Do you think it's good news that cash is still king?
I think cash should always remain because what you said, it's for me, it's the tips and etc. that makes the world go round. It's like the little cogs. And
also as well, I mean, you said convenience, Jen. Apparently people prefer cash because they believe they can control their spending when they're on holiday easier because their budgeting is better. Do you agree?
I 100% agree with that.
I need to get Shelley on cash then. I need to get Shelley on cash. She can't control it. She's like this.
It's really easy when you've got your card or something to just go, I'm just not going to look at my app. I'm just not going to check the balance. And then when you I'm going to really have to because I need to do the big shop and I'm like, how much have I got here to spend? And you have to look at it. So I think, if you can, when you've got the cash and you kind of know where you stand, that's a lot easier. I think places like when we had the carnival the other week and you can pay like €3, €4, €5 for each ride now on card, it would be so easy.
It was a fortune, wasn't it?
It would be so easy to not realise how much you've spent. I was doing it in cash and I was like, once it's gone,
my kids went, and my kids are 25 and 21. They said it was a fortune to go. So
it
was good fun,
but it
was like
a lot.
I remember again. It's hark on the old days. The fun of the fair was that it's just now. It's actually an event now. Whereas it's an expended event. It's like Disney. Universal. Universal now you can't go for one day. You have to buy a 3-day ticket. It's now £400 and something to go to Universal.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and it's like there were days you just used to go in on a day pass. You know what I mean? And it's the way. I don't know. It's just the way that the big companies are getting you, Chris, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. But so are we saying then that even if people use cards, we feel that anybody, that's including you, who's coming to Tenerife on holiday should bring some cash to tip their barman and waiter and waitress?
I would say yes. I leave the house with everything on my phone, but I've always got 20, 30 quid in my pocket. Because I don't know why, but I do. I don't feel if I have no money in my wallet, I have to
bus fare home.
But BFH, that's it. BFH, that's what it is. But I just feel it because again, it is that the old guy that in Los Abrigos Cafe yesterday. That's what it's for,
And maybe let us know in the comments. So do you bring some cash even though you always use your card? And how do you feel when you have been in a bar or a restaurant? Because I've seen it before. Even like with my own friends, I have a couple of them that only ever pay with card and we'll go to leave a tip. And I always have a bit of cash. But you're noticing you're not leaving as much as, I don't know, I would have done maybe 5 years.
And there are places over here that don't take cards. There is that as well. There are still places that don't take cards.
I see a lot of signs saying, yes, we take card, but we prefer cash because of the cost of cards for them as well. So even as a small business.
And the limit, got to be €10 or over
a small business
on card and stuff,
Interesting.
Anyway, that's it from me, Jen.
Okay, well, let us know your thoughts. As always, we encourage your comments. I'm just going to go on to one last thing on this bonus episode. Events.
Stinger finger.
Anybody seen anything exciting going on?
Only at the Night Owl and the Sky Bar.
What's that going on? What's that sort of thing?
Some cool dude does their social media.
It's the every Wednesday and every Thursday.
Having voice parties, aren't you?
We do a takeover.
Yeah,
we do a takeover. We go to the bar and I'll most probably get haters for this. If you turn up at a bar as an entertainer and the bar is empty, it's not the bar's fault. It's your own fault as well. because you have to create a following, you have to create something to make sure that people will be in there for you as well.
That's controversial. I mean,
And it's also as important to market yourself as it is for them to market you.
Absolutely, I 100% believe it.
Okay.
And that's my start point of where I come out from.
You will die on that hill.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think because I'm responsible for my income or my I'm responsible for, at the end of the day it comes down to money, and I'm responsible for my income, and if I go up there and get cancelled, then it's my fault as well. You know, for instance, that's what I would say.
Okay.
So what we did was we came up with an idea of we thought about let's do an bar takeover because of the following that Shelley now has. She has, I think, across all social media platforms, she's got over 450,000 followers. She has over 30 million streams in the last year alone. So we thought, let's do a takeover. So we go into the bar and say, can we have your bar on a time that's not where you're not going to lose money? Because normally, we have to cancel this to move. No, we want to come in when there's a quiet time of the day.
In the daytime.
Wednesday afternoon, Thursday afternoon. Nothing's going on. Let's go in there and do it. And we started off in Los Cristianos. We had sound issues in Los Cristianos, noise issues, which is fine. We realised very quickly that Shelley is getting bigger than too big for some of these bars. I'm not going to equate to the same, but stick Ed Sheeran in a small shop, there'll be thousands of people and shut the place down. So Shelley's going up now into the levels. So you either come back in and stay back into the small areas, or you try and go for something else. Hence
a bigger venue.
Hence the reason I've got the UK shows sorted. Yeah. So, but we are fortunate enough to have the Night Owl on a Wednesday and Sky Bar on a Thursday. And it is an absolute...
And that's every Wednesday and Thursday?
Every Wednesday, Thursday.
There you go. There's 2 events for you.
It's a party. It's great fun. And it's great fun. You know?
That Night Owl, we did a charity event there recently. I didn't know it existed.
It's a beautiful place.
I'd heard of it, but I didn't know where it was. I walked past it.
We had to Google where it was.
You see, this is why I actually do their social media, which means I'm doing it wrong. I need to look. I need to read. But it's actually it's a beautiful bar.
So nice down there.
And the people down there are fantastic. Mick and Jude are amazing. And you know, they stick to their roots of Northern Soul as well. So all the Northern Soulers come over. The place is rammed, and it is literally rammed every night. And it's closed at the moment. They're reopening again on Wednesday, but they've had holidays. But they deserve everything that comes to them because they do it correct. They do it fantastically.
Yeah, it's cute. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I have an event I would like to mention.
Go on then.
On Oasis FM, have a new sponsor, Slack Alice's, in the Gulf Del Sur.
My daughter's called Alice. I was like, I saw that name. I was like, you know, it's that other song, innit? Alice.
Yeah,
Alice.
yeah, of course.
I'm like, But there we go. I've seen Slack Alice. It's on the Top Square, Sandblast Square.
Top Square, Sandblast. Yeah. So this Friday they are reopening and they're going in with a bang. All starts at 5:30.
Who's organising that? Is it Del Slack? Del Slack.
Del Slack.
My word, he's got a new name.
You went there.
He's got a new name, Del Slack. I'm gonna message him.
I'm sure he will see this. All right, Del. So yeah, they've got quite an opening night, starting at 5:30. Like I say, Olivia Turney, who actually I don't know much about.
No.
Okay.
I've seen it. She's got loads of videos around at the moment. Actually, that keep hitting the old algorithm. Because she's a dancer as well. She's you'd like some of her dancing, but she's good voice.
Lovely.
Good voice.
And then Del Max on Raven and Roxy Risque. So it's quite the night. They're also.
It's a very diverse night.
There's a bit of something for everyone there, isn't there? Literally. €2.50 pints, Dorada, all night on that night.
Yep.
Is €2.50 the new Euro pint?
Well, I don't know, but don't you think that's a fair price in bars with entertainment?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think it's a good price. I think it's a good price. That's
really good price.
Yeah, really good price.
Can I just read out what I've written down in my
notes?
BOGOF cocks.
Okay. And with that, we'll leave it. Thank you so much.
And that's the end of the pod.
End of the podcast.
Thanks
See you next time.
Bye.
Come on, what does that mean?
Well,
is she back in Amsterdam or Thailand?
There you go, you see.
BOGOF cocktails, buy one get one free, and they're doing. I saw Del came in the offices the other day. And
Del Slack?
Del Slack did, and he was like, they're all premium, like the proper cocktails, not out of a carton, they're proper ones. So, and also my favourite bit about this, not my favourite, but a good bit, the sister bar Dreamers is putting on a spread.
Yeah, they're supplying the food, aren't they?
I love that. It makes me think of my mum doing something like on someone's birthday.
Brilliant.
On Stan's birthday, we'll put on a spread.
Get a spread going.
I'm hoping for sausage rolls, cheese on a stick with some pineapple, like dug into a baked potato with tinfoil around it. Yeah. And if it's not that, do
you know what it is?
I think,
to be honest with you, one of the great things of moving back over this side, because I live now in San Miguel, is back on Gulf del Sur, because I lived on 5 years on Gulf del Sur, and I love Top Square. I think Top Square has an absolute vibe about it.
Is it better with everyone doing their own entertainment rather than having one in the middle?
No, it causes mass arguments and ructions across the residents that live around the top area.
Noise.
They put a suggestion together
because you've got spoons.
You've got spoons. You've got the Cocktails and Dreams across the road. They're the ones that really they flout it a lot because they actually. They put loud music on all the time. I've got one of my friends lives around that area, so he tells us all about it. But spoons.
You have a spy.
Yeah, of course I do. Of course I do. I'm down with it. I'm down with the kids. I know what's going on. But I actually love.
There's that phrase, Jen.
Down with the kids.
Gen X again.
I love Top Square. I think Top Square it can't be. There's some fantastic restaurants up there. It's a great community as well. It's a really nice.
Sure.
But also, it's a great community. But if holidaymakers turn up, they're always welcome. And that's really nice. It's not like it's not like the holidaymakers are here. Let's turn up.
And how will Slack Alice's fit in there? How will it do?
I think it's going to be interesting because that place has struggled to find its identity over the last 4 or 5 years. It's really struggled.
It's had a few different owners.
Yeah, it's really struggled, but it's also had a few different people in there that you go, I'm not sure. But if you're talking Raven, you're talking Roxy, you talk these people, they know what they're doing.
Well, the guys who own it have got not only Dreamers, they've got a couple of other bars as well.
Are you talking about Dreamers in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
It's the same owners. And they've also got a couple of bars in Funchal as well. I think they've got 4 bars. So they know what they're doing. And obviously, Dell was involved in setting everything up at St Andrews as well on the golf. And obviously has good contacts with everyone. So, hopefully they stand a good chance of putting some good acts in. Because the golf needs it, doesn't it?
It's very difficult for an entertainer to make the reason to come over to the golf. Because obviously the idea,
traffic.
Well, yeah, but not necessarily the traffic. It's the turnaround time, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
So if you do you do a 10 till 11, then you do 11 till 12. You're actually doing a 11:15 till 12:15. Yeah. But you can't do that if you're coming up on the golf on a 10 till 11. Because it's going to take you half an hour to get back into town. So therefore, that's why people... I'm not going to say they're reluctant, but it's just a little bit harder. People who live over this side, you've got Emma Blacker over here. Elaine Alexander was actually on at Spoons on a Tuesday.
I saw her at 5 p.m,
They're doing a lot of the afternoon stuff as well now, which
is
good.
Paul's been on as well.
Paul's been doing it as well, yeah. So it's just... But
is he the best undiscovered male voice? I think he is, because he's been comparing for years down at Bar Canario. And he's a fantastic vocalist.
He's good.
And he's now... I know he's been covering Emma because she's not been well. But he's actually being seen for what he is as a vocalist. He's brilliant, isn't he?
Do you know, he's funny as well. He's funny.
Oh, Paul's a great lad.
I've watched a couple of shows, and it's like I'm a comper. I work on a Monday night as a comper. I'm at Sky Bar, but I look at everybody. And I look at him. I'm like, he's a funny lad. Like he's very funny. Yeah, it's funny. He's got a great voice. And it's just
if you like a dad joke, Jen.
Do you know who I do? Who surprised me?
Jen, if you like BOGOF cocks.
Who doesn't?
Do you know who surprised me? New to it. Tom Ellis. I've never seen this kid before, and I've seen a couple of things online, and then he turned up at Sky Bar and followed Shelley on at Sky Bar one Thursday afternoon, and he's brilliant. He's
videographer by trade, isn't he?
Have you seen his TikToks?
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
He does a guitar, but he's the one who does. Remember, Leon Cormack does these things in the dark studio, and Leon looks cool as F. He looks amazing. Leon, he's singing and Take On Me. Yeah. Tom Ellis did the videos for it, and the videography is phenomenal. I look at that and go, that's what I aspire to do.
I remember he did Zoe Lee's video when she was doing Tributo Fest a couple of years ago. He did her Blondie one.
Oh, I tell you.
And he's a good lad, but he's actually completely self-taught on the guitar to be able to, because he did his first gig at Mustang Sally's. I remember following him on it, and it was a bit raw, but like everyone, he's got a hell of a lot better, hasn't he? And he's doing that whole group now, isn't he? Red Lion and whatever.
Yeah, he does that. Yeah.
Now, interestingly, let me ask you a question. We've been toying with the idea of bringing back Newcomer this year to the Tees. Are there enough acts out there, new ones now, to justify it? Because it seems to me there's a lot of new names. And I'm not talking about... let's get something completely off the table. Not acts who've been here before and doing a new show. No. People who are new to the scene from the 1st of January this year. All right?
I would 100% put that in the comments, because I wouldn't know. I'd get to see what see what the island feels.
Okay, yeah, see what you think, and maybe especially the act circuit, because I literally said this last year, and I think it was Tom Ellis. I went for a cocktail with a friend at Mustang Sally's, and I was like, "Oh, who's that? I've never seen." And he was only setting up, so I didn't actually hear him play. And she was like, "Oh, it's someone new, Tom Ellis." And then there's obviously people that are coming over. I walked past The Red Lion once, probably last year as well, and Harper.
Yeah, there's another one, Harper.
Don't know him.
I don't know.
I listened, and I've walked past a couple of times, and I've gone, that's amazing. Who is that?
Yeah.
So I think there are. Whether there's enough to do a whole category, maybe it's enough to do a category. Bring it back for 1 year only. I don't know.
Yeah. What got me with Tom Ellis was his social media work, because what he did is on TikTok, and he's got he uses an Insta 360, which is the fisheye thing goes around. So and he puts it in the corner. And then he plays, and then later on, because I think his love is editing, and you'll see him edit, and then it goes somewhere else, and he's literally he's a one-man show.
Doing it while he's doing it.
He was admiring what I was doing on YouTube with Shelley Lives, because what we do at Skybar, we get all the TVs up, and we get the chat on the TVs as well. So people in the UK chat and goes, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He says, "What camera are you using?" I'm using that phone. "What, just a phone?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he couldn't believe what was going on.
Yeah.
And I just said, and I was impressed with what he's doing. It was the social media side that got me with Tom, and then he came on and I went, "Actually, he's really, really good." I liked his style. I liked his confidence. I liked his stage presence. I think that's what it came down to. And I've not seen Harper yet, but I've heard he's another one.
Yeah, I've not seen whole shows, but just walk past sometimes and gone, "Who's that?" So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of acts out there that I don't know. But is that just because I don't really go out anymore, and like they're dribbling through, or that there is enough for a whole category? Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for being part of the pod.
Thanks for having me. I loved it.
It's been an absolute pleasure and delight. Like we keep saying, leave your comments, get in touch with us, let us know what your thoughts are, and we will include them on the next Tenerife pod.
Winchester.